What is up, guys? Welcome back to Creative Readers, etc. Today's video is one that I'm sure several of you have seen versions of already, but I'm very excited about it and I really want to talk about it. Shadow and Bone, the TV show. Oh my gosh. This is my review of the Shadow and Bone TV show, which I did watch in one day. It was amazing. Words cannot describe how happy it made me to see my favorite book series put on the screen, and done well at that. So this is going to be my review of the series. It's fairly in-depth. I will be dividing the video up into two parts. The first part is, of course, the non-spoilers for those of you who have not seen the show yet, and then I will have a more spoilery section that you're free to leave before watching if you don't want to know more details about what actually occurs. Of course, as many of you know, Six of Crows is my favorite book series. Next to Darius the Great is Not Okay. I do have the collector's editions right here. They're very pretty. They're my favorite. I've read this series multiple times. I recommend it to everybody, and to see it put on the screen, as I said, is just chef's kiss. Amazing perfection. So, without further ado, let's hop right into the video. Alright, so as promised, this is going to be the non-spoilery section. So for those of you who haven't seen the TV show, read the books, anything like that, don't really want to know what happens, just want to see my review of the show as a whole and not the plot of the show or any of the details, this is for you. I will be leaving timestamps down in the comments of when I do get to the spoilery section, and I will be placing a warning beforehand, so you're free to abscond if that's not something that interests you. So the first thing that I want to talk about is casting. Now, the casting was done so well for this series. The characters somehow look exactly like I pictured them, like I'm sure many people pictured them. Nina was casted very well, especially. I like that they made her a bigger woman and didn't make her skinny, because Nina is not skinny. Nina likes waffles. Nina is curvy and proud and beautiful. They're all beautiful. And Nej, gorgeous, love of my life. Kaz, absolute perfection. All of the Shadow and Bone characters were also done very well. I haven't read that series all the way through yet, so I'm probably not going to talk about the Shadow and Bone side of the show as much. However, the Darkling is hot. I will say that. They're all done so well. I really like that they made Alina Shu, or of Asian descent, Shu in the show. I really like that they added diversity amongst the characters, because even in the books, the Six of Crows gang, and I'm sure the Shadow and Bone gang as well, are very diverse people. And they don't look the same, aren't from the same descent. I love it. Just Jesper as a whole, my gosh, they did him so well. I can't wait till we get Wyland. The chemistry between those two is going to be phenomenal. I am so excited. So the casting already has just made me excited to watch the show originally and now for going forward. The next thing that I want to talk about is the costuming. Now, I'm sure several of you have seen the trailer or the screen grabs from the show, so I don't really consider this a spoiler, and obviously it has nothing to do with the plot. But the costuming, you can tell there was so much care taken to ensure that everything looked period accurate and also just gorgeous. The keftas, you could tell they had hand embroidery done on them, which, well, I'm sure it was done by a machine, but, you know, they were embroidered and not just printed on. And they were so beautiful. Like, I want a kefta now. They also looked really comfy and warm, so go for that. I really like that they, along with the costuming, I'm going to include like the setting, because the set design for this show was amazing, impeccable. I'm going to be saying everything from the show was amazing and impeccable because it was. So just be warned. But I just really love the care that they took to make sure the costumes looked both accurate to the time period that they took place in, yet well made and still fun, you know? They highlighted the characters' personalities. Kaz's like tuck shirt with the lace patterning on it, like that looks like something a mob boss would wear, and Kaz is a mob boss. finally, the last non-spoilery thing that I want to talk about is like just the overall aesthetic of the show. It was just done so well that I think anybody would like it, even if they haven't read the book series. The plot lines, obviously I'm not spoiling any details about them yet, but they worked so well, both together and standing alone, and it just made me so happy. Like, this whole show, I haven't liked a show like this in so long, but I really, really loved this show, and I would recommend it to everybody, book series or not. Alright, now we are going to hop into the more spoilery side of things, so as I said before, if this is not your thing, please feel free to leave. I have some other videos that you can watch. They should be listed somewhere on your screen, or watch the show now and come back when you've finished. Either way, this part of the video is going to contain spoilers, so be warned. Of course, the best thing about this entire TV show was Milo the goat. I would die for Milo. He was, of course, Jesper's little buddy, and I now want an emotional support goat. Milo stole the show, like, just point blank period. That's all. Thank you. That's the end of the video. Goodbye. No, I'm just kidding. That's not. But that was the first thing that I wanted to get out of the way because I feel like it just needed to be said. Milo, amazing. 13 out of 10. He's the goat. So now that I did mention earlier the plot and how I thought it was done really well overall, and now I want to get a little more in depth to that because I really, really enjoyed how well they made it intertwine with the Crows cast. How they had to come kidnap Alina, but they didn't, and somehow, even though it doesn't follow the books, obviously, I don't think the Six of Crows gang was present in Shadow and Bone, but it doesn't destroy the world the books built either. It's still things that could be possible within the world. So, of course, it doesn't explicitly say that the Crows were there when Alina tried to destroy the fold, but the way that they played it out on the show makes it make sense to where it could have been possible. And I really appreciate the time and care that they must have taken into making sure that happened. I do know that Leigh was involved in making the script for the show or writing the show. I know that she was involved in that process, so I'm sure she wanted to do that, not to destroy the lore for these characters. But props, it was done well, and it made me happy. I also really enjoyed that the Crows did not follow their heist adventure. I like that we got some new content for them because it made it a lot more riveting to watch. And I really enjoyed how they kind of gave some of the backstory. Of course, they changed Inej's deal with the menagerie, like with Kaz, instead of just buying her indenture straight out, he was paying it off. But I see why they did that, to kind of give the characters some story, and it doesn't change too much of what happened in the book, so I'm okay with it. And they did it really well to build the characters' interactions with each other, so of course I think that it worked out for the best. For me, as a book lover, especially of this series, it's so refreshing to just see a TV show made well over a series of books that doesn't disrupt what happened within the books. The next thing that I want to talk about is I really like how they ended the series, or the season, that it will probably go into season 2 being the heist that actually was in the Six of Crows story, because now I have the confidence that they can do the heist well, and hopefully we get to meet Wylan, and I'm so excited. But I also really love how they tied in Nina meeting the Crows, because that never was discussed in the books, how they met. We just knew that Kaz occasionally worked with the Heartrender, which is Nina. So I really like that they did show us how they met, and as I said earlier, it still stays true to the books. It's not something that would be outside of canon lore. And it made me sob to see how Nina and Matthias got off on the wrong foot after she called him a slaver to save his life. Like, I knew it was coming because that was discussed in the books, and they stayed true to the books, and it hurt my soul, but I loved it. I wanted it to hurt my soul and rip me into 1,000 pieces because their love is so freaking amazing. Like I said, I'm still in the process of reading Shadow and Bone, so all of my opinions on that series aren't fully developed yet. However, I have heard that people don't really like Mal and Alina, like, in the books, but it was played out really, really well on the TV show. So I really like that their dynamic was a lot more real life and compatible than, from what I've heard, it is in the books. I also really liked how the Darkling was amazing at doing his job, which was lying, because he had me convinced that he was a good guy. I knew he was originally a bad guy in the books, or supposed to be anyway, but I was like, okay, so maybe they're changing it to where the Darkling isn't a bad dude for the TV show, which, a little weird, but alright. And then it was like, no, he's evil. And I was like, I never saw it coming. I never saw it coming, and props to him for doing that so well, for doing the acting so well. Because to act like you're acting, I feel, is really challenging. And, oh, I'm sorry. To act like you're acting, but you have to disguise that you're acting. Because we did get little hints throughout that he wasn't like what he seemed, but they were so subtle that you were like, maybe we're just overthinking it. And for that to be done so well, especially when you know he's supposed to be a villain, I just want to give props to him and props to the directors for doing that so, so well. And with that, that about wraps up my thoughts for the Shadow and Bone TV series. As I said, if you haven't already, please go watch it. It's an amazing TV show. You will not regret it. Thank you guys so much for sticking with me till the end of the video, or if you left for spoilers, thank you, even though you're not here. If you did enjoy this video, please be sure to subscribe for more content. Comment down below. It really makes my day. Like this video so more people can see it. I do post content every Monday, and I will see you guys next time. Bye-bye!